Hello, everyone, and a really warm welcome to the English with Narayana channel.
Hi, everyone.
We're so happy you're joining us today, learning English with us.
Yeah, it's great to have you here.
You know, a question we get a lot is, can you actually make big strides, real progress, in English in just about a month?
It's a common one, definitely. People want to know if that quick boost is possible.
Exactly. So that's what we want to look into right now. This is really for you, the learner, who's eager to improve your English, maybe quite quickly, and see some, well, real results.
We've gathered some ideas that should really help you work towards those English goals.
We'll be chatting about how to create that English bubble around you, good ways to actually practice, and, how to tackle new words and grammar.
Making it all stick.
Right. So let's jump in. First off, how can someone really surround themselves with English, especially if, they don't live somewhere like the UK or the US?
That's a great starting point. And honestly, you can do so much without leaving home. Yeah, think about your phone, your computer, the gadgets you use constantly.
Okay.
Just switching the language setting to English. It sounds small, maybe, but suddenly everything you interact with, menus, notifications, it's all in English. You're reading it all the time.
That constant exposure, right?
Exactly. We should ask our listeners, actually, have you ever tried changing your phone language to English? What was that like? Let us know in the comments.
Oh, good idea. Yeah, tell us below. It's like tiny learning moments sprinkled through your day. Clever. Okay, so that's devices. What about media, watching and listening? What should people aim for?
Oh, there's a huge range. Music, obviously, with English lyrics. Movies, TV shows, even discussions like this one.
Right, like what we're doing now.
Yeah. And look, when you're starting out using subtitles, totally fine. They help you follow along.
Sure.
But as you get a bit more comfortable, try turning them off. Just listen. It's a fantastic workout for your ears.
Pushes your listening skills.
Definitely. So what about you listening? What English music or shows do you like? Tell us that in the comments, too.
Yes. Love getting recommendations. Now, there was another tip, putting labels on things around the house. Tell us about that. Why does that work?
Ah, yes. That's such a simple but really effective trick. Grab some sticky notes.
Okay.
And just write the English word for common objects. Stick table on the table, chair on the chair, window on the window.
So you see it constantly.
Exactly. It connects the word directly to the thing visually. It's like a constant little reminder.
Builds that direct association.
Precisely. We'd love to know if anyone's tried this. Did it help you remember words? Let us know.
That sounds super easy. Yeah, very practical. Okay, another idea mentioned is trying to think in English. Now that sounds a bit more challenging.
It does, yeah. It takes conscious effort at first.
How do you even begin?
Start small. Really small. Try forming simple sentences in your head about what you're doing. Like, you're making coffee, think, I am making coffee.
Just narrating your actions.
Exactly. Well, what you see, the sky is blue. Gradually, you can try, slightly more complex thoughts. It gets your brain used to processing in English.
Gets the mental gears turning in English.
What's a simple English sentence you thought today? Share that one, too. Lots of homework in the comments today.
Yeah. It's all about weaving English into daily life, isn't it?
That's the core idea.
Okay, so immersion is key. But then there's practice. Regular practice. How vital is consistency, and what does good practice actually look like?
Oh, consistency is everything, really. Short, focused bursts every single day. Much, much better than one massive long session once a week.
Right. Avoids burnout too, probably.
Exactly. Think of it like exercise. Litter and often build strength. Even just say 15 or 20 minutes of really focused practice daily makes a huge difference over a month.
That sounds manageable.
It is. How much time do you usually manage each day for English practice? Tell us.
Okay, good question for everyone. Now, there's this technique. Active recall. What's that about?
Active recall. It's basically trying to pull information out of your brain rather than just passively reviewing it.
Okay, so not just reading notes again.
No. So, say you learned some new words. Later, you try to write them down from memory with their meanings without looking at your list.
Like testing yourself.
Yeah, exactly. It makes the memory stronger because you had to actively retrieve it. Have you used active recall? What did you think? Another one for the comments.
Definitely makes sense. You remember things better if you have to work to recall them. Okay, so practice is important. Active recall helps. But language is for communication, right? Speaking.
Absolutely crucial.
How can you practice speaking if you don't really have anyone around to speak English with easily?
Yeah, that's a common challenge. But you can start, well, by yourself.
Talking to yourself.
Sounds a bit odd maybe, but yes. Read English texts out loud. Describe your day out loud in English, just to yourself. It helps with pronunciation, just getting the words out, and it builds confidence. Seriously, have you tried talking to yourself in English? What did you talk about? Be brave. Share below.
Huh. Okay, it's a good first step to getting comfortable, but what about actually, interacting with others?
That's the next level and really beneficial. Finding a conversation partner is ideal. Someone else learning English. Or maybe a native speaker learning your language.
A language exchange.
Exactly. Loads of websites and apps connect people for this. The key is to start speaking early and often. Don't worry too much about mistakes initially. Just communicate.
That's important. Have you used a language exchange platform? What was that like? Let us know.
Yeah, getting over that fear of making mistakes is huge. They're just part of learning. They show you where you need to improve.
True. Okay, linked to listening earlier, there's active listening. How is that different from just hearing English?
Good question. Active listening is more intentional. You're really focusing on how people speak, their pronunciation, the intonation, the way their voice goes up and down, the specific words they choose. It's not just getting the gist, it's noticing the nuances.
So paying attention to the details.
Try to really tune in, minimize distractions, sometimes even try to predict what they might say next. It makes listening much more engaging.
Do you find yourself doing that when you listen? Paying attention to those details?
It definitely requires more focus than just having the TV on in the background.
Yeah.
Okay, so focus is important and staying motivated.
Yeah.
Setting goals. How do you do that well?
Clear goals are super important. What do you actually want to achieve in 1 month? Is it learning, say, 200 new words? Being able to have a simple chat about your hobbies?
Being specific.
Exactly. Using the SMART goals idea helps. Specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound. Clear goals keep you focused, let you see your progress, and that keeps you motivated.
And making it fun helps too, right?
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. Link it to your interests. If you love cooking, watch English cooking shows. Make it enjoyable. So, what are your English goals for the next month? Share them. Inspire others.
Okay, have a plan, make it fun. Got it. Let's dig into vocabulary a bit more. You mentioned reading helps build vocabulary. What kind of reading is best?
Reading is fantastic for vocab. Start with things at your level, or maybe slightly challenging but not overwhelming. Simple stories, news articles for learners, websites designed for English students.
Accessible stuff.
Right. Then, as you improve, you can try slightly more complex things, regular news articles, maybe chapters from books that interest you. What sort of English reading do you find interesting?
And when you're reading and you hit a new word, what then? Just skip it.
No, definitely don't just ignore it. That's a missed opportunity.
So what should you do?
Write it down. Try to guess the meaning from the context first, the words around it. Then, maybe write down the whole sentence you found it in. That shows you how it's used. Then look it up. Find the definition. And crucially, try to use it in your own sentence soon after.
Make it active.
Yes.
Yeah.
What do you do when you find a new English word? What's your process?
Good question. That sounds like a solid way to really learn it. What about tools like flashcards or apps for vocabulary?
Oh yeah, they can be really helpful. Classic paper flashcards work. Or digital ones using apps like Anki or Quizlet.
I've heard of those.
They often use spaced repetition, showing you the word just before you're likely to forget it. It's very efficient for memorization over time. Have you used flashcards or vocab apps? Which ones work for you?
Sounds efficient, yeah. And learning words in context. You mentioned that with reading.
Yes, it's much better than just memorizing word lists. Seeing how a word fits into a real sentence, a real situation, helps it stick.
Makes sense.
You can also create little mental images or connections, mnemonics, to help remember. And learning about word families like act, action, active, or prefixes and suffixes can unlock the meaning of many related words.
Ah, seeing the patterns.
Exactly. Can you think of a new word you learned recently and the sentence it was in? Share it below.
Lots of ways to build that word bank. Okay, shifting gears a bit. Grammar. Sometimes the scary part for learners. Where's a good place to start?
Don't be scared. Start with the foundations, the basic building blocks.
Like what?
Learn the main parts of speech nouns, verbs, adjectives, adverbs. Get a solid grasp of the core verb tenses, simple present, simple past, simple future. Start there.
Okay, the basics.
And really focus on the fundamental English sentence structure. Subject, verb, object, SVO. That basic order is key. What part of grammar do you find trickiest?
Knowing the basics helps. And how do you actively study grammar, not just read about it?
Good grammar books or reliable online resources are helpful guides. But then you need to do the exercises. Practice applying the rules.
Practice, practice.
Yes, and pay attention to sentence structure when you read or listen. Notice how sentences are built. Then, when you write, consciously try to use the grammar points you've learned. Do you have a favorite way to practice grammar?
So it's about using it, not just knowing the rule. What about that word order thing? Subject, verb, object.
Focus on mastering that basic SVO order first. Then, learn about different sentence types. Simple sentences, compound sentences, complex sentences. Understanding how clauses connect helps you build more sophisticated, accurate sentences.
Okay.
Look for patterns when you read. Actively try constructing different sentence types when you write or even speak. Have you noticed how English sentence structure might differ from your own language?
It often does. Okay, that gives some clear steps for grammar. Now, we talked about creating an English environment. Any other practical tips, especially for those not in an English-speaking place?
Well, beyond the devices and media, look locally. Are there any English language schools nearby? Tutors, maybe conversation groups or clubs? Even check your local library or community center. They sometimes have English materials or language exchange meetups. It's worth looking around. Have you checked for groups like that near you?
Being proactive in your own community and the internet, of course, is huge.
Oh, absolutely enormous. Join online communities, social media groups, forums focused on interests you have, but where people communicate in English.
Immerse yourself online.
Exactly. Great exposure to written English, lots of interaction opportunities. And those language exchange platforms we mentioned are mostly online too, connect you globally. What are your favorite online spots for English practice?
And this idea of having like English-only times or zones at home, how does that work?
It's about setting boundaries. Decide on specific times, maybe an hour each evening, or specific places like the kitchen where everyone learning English in the house only uses English.
A bit challenging, maybe.
Can be, but fun too. Or even just try thinking aloud in English while you do chores. It reinforces that immersion within your own space. Is that something you could try at home?
Interesting idea. Okay, apps. So many apps. Which ones are really good for focus learning?
There are the big platforms like Duolingo, Babbel, Memrise, Rosetta Stone. They offer structured courses, interactive exercises covering various skills.
The all-rounders?
Kind of. Then there are apps specifically for pronunciation practice that listen and give feedback, and apps purely for finding conversation partners. Lots of choice. Have you found any language apps particularly helpful?
So apps for skills, apps for practice. What about specifically for vocabulary and grammar through apps?
For vocab, yeah, those flashcard apps like Anki, Quizlet are really strong. Others use games or different methods. For grammar, some apps check your writing, others offer specific lessons and quizzes.
Okay.
And don't forget just using streaming services or YouTube. Watching content you enjoy is also learning. What are your go-to digital tools for vocab and grammar?
So many options. It really is about finding your own best fit. Now, thinking about that 1 month time frame, a focused push. What should be the main focus? Where do you get the most bang for your buck?
Good question. Since language is primarily about communication, I'd say prioritize activities that directly improve your speaking and listening.
Being able to interact.
Exactly. Understanding others and being understood, that's usually the core goal. Also, focus your vocabulary learning on high-frequency words and common phrases, the stuff you'll actually use in everyday chat.
Practical language.
Right. That will give you the biggest boost in a short time. What do you hope to be able to do in English after a month of focused effort?
That makes sense. Focus on the useful stuff. What about grammar then? Should you try cramming every rule in that month?
No, definitely not. That's unrealistic and probably overwhelming.
Ew.
Instead, focus on the fundamental grammar points that enable clear communication. Key verb tenses, basic sentence structure, question formation. Getting those right makes a huge difference.
The essentials.
Yes, having a solid grasp of those core elements will improve your accuracy significantly. What are maybe 1 or 2 grammar topics you'd really like to nail down?
And balancing input and output. You hear about that. What does it mean?
Input is taking English, and so listening and reading. Output is producing English yourself, speaking and writing.
Okay.
To learn effectively, you need both. You can't just passively consume the language. You have to actively use it too. Try speaking, try writing, put what you're learning into practice. How do you balance your practice across those 4 skills? Listening, reading, speaking, writing.
That's a key balance. Input feeds output. Makes perfect sense. Now, finally, managing expectations. 1 month is short. What kind of progress is realistic?
Yeah, becoming totally fluent in a month. Highly unlikely, let's be real.
Okay.
But making noticeable, significant progress.
Okay.
Absolutely possible. Improvement in understanding, speaking more confidently, expanding vocabulary, using grammar more accurately. You can definitely achieve that.
Depends on the person, though.
Of course. It depends on your starting level, your motivation, how you learn best, and crucially, how much quality time you actually dedicate. What kind of progress would feel like a win for you after one focused month?
So progress, not perfection. Everyone's path is different. Okay, any final thought to leave our listeners with on their English learning journey?
Just remember that learning English is, well, it's a marathon, not a sprint.
Yeah.
A month of focused effort is fantastic, a great kickstart or a booster shot. But the key is to keep going. Keep setting small goals. Keep practicing. Keep integrating English into your life. Even after that intense month, every little bit truly does count.
That's a great reminder. We really hope these ideas we've discussed give you some help on your English journey. Remember, like you said, even a little practice each day really does add up.
And back to you, our listeners. We asked a few questions, but here's one more. What are some ways you enjoy practicing English? What works for you? Please share your tips and ideas in the comments below.
Yeah, we genuinely love hearing from you and learning about your experiences. It helps everyone.
It really does.
And if you found this chat helpful and you want more lessons, more tips on learning English, please do subscribe to the English with Narayana channel.
Absolutely. And remember, listening to conversations like this one, podcasts, discussions, it's a brilliant way to sharpen your listening skills and pick up new vocabulary naturally. So keep listening to English with Narayana.
Thank you all so much for joining us today and spending time learning with us. Goodbye for now.
Bye, everyone. Happy learning.